Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I'm bringing you guys finally my Dark Magician deck profile. This is really crazy to me that I've been YouTubing for 3 years now and I have still never done a Dark Magician profile. So really excited for this one. Unfortunately, Anaconda and stuff did get hit, so this deck is a little bit more nerfed than how it really was able to just power out Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. But this is a Dragoon focused deck, as you guys will see as we go along, but sort of enables a lot of other Dark Magician combos. Without any further ado, let's get on into the profile. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And let's get going. So we are playing the 2 copies of the Dark Magician. You really don't need any more than that. It's just nice to be able to play 2 of it. You're not going to be bricking as often, because you can run into some very, very bricky hands with this deck. So definitely like just playing the 2 copies. 1 copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon, because like I said, we are playing Dragoon. Pulling my Ghost Rare Red Eyes really made me invested in putting this profile out, but just really wanted to play this. Really, I do think that playing the Dragoon build is like the best way to do it, because it is just sort of like the way that this deck can enable some like really dumb combos and just sort of gives it some longevity to maybe play in the grind game or to help close out games, because Dragoon is really good for that. 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl. I really still like playing this in combination with like the Soul Servant, as well as just playing some of like the Dark Magician fusions and stuff. This is a heavily based fusion deck, so I just wanted to sort of incorporate all of it. Then we're going on into the 3 copies of Illusion of Chaos. Obviously, you want to be playing this card kind of at maximum. Some people play like 2, and then maybe they play like Preparation of Rites and stuff. I just like playing the 3 copies just so I can make sure to get to this card and then go off from there. Then we have our 3 copies of Magician Souls. The nice thing is that this card, I believe, has been confirmed for the reprint for the Legendary Duelist Season 3. So for all of you people who have been wanting to play Dark Magician for the longest time, I would say right now is a really good time to invest in Illusion of Chaos, just to be able to get into this card, at least maybe once like all of like the Nationals and all that stuff is done. That way you can get your hands on that. And then when Magician Souls goes down, I believe that Illusion of Chaos will go up, because more people will be on Dark Magician. So probably get your hands on Illusion of Chaos as soon as you can, as long as you can get it at a fairly affordable price. Then we're going to go on into our 3 copies of Magician's Rod, just to be able to pick up whatever spell or trap that we want. And the Magician Souls is so important for this deck, just to be able to Foolish Burial either the Dark Magician or the Dark Magician Girl into the graveyard. So those 2 cards are just very pivotal for the deck. Then we're going on into 2 copies of Timaeus the United Dragon. This card is just so nice for the deck as well. I really wish that he was a little bit more broken if Konami would have made it so he can special summon himself to the field if you have like a Dark Magician or a spell or trap that lists Dark Magician on the field. But it's just a little bit hard for your advantage when you get rid of a spellcaster monster to summon him to the field, and then you like use him for a fusion summon. But whatever, he's sort of as good as he is right now, and we just kind of got to use him as is. But overall, playing 2 copies of him is kind of nice, just for an alternate route to get into Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, or just any of your other Dark Magician monsters that you want to get into from the extra deck. We then have our 3 copies of Soul Servant. Really nice card just to be able to search for whatever you want and do a little bit of extra drawing, helping to thin the deck so you can also get to some of those key combo pieces. Then we have our 2 copies of Dark Magical Circle. I dropped this down to 2 for Foolish Burial, and we'll get to Foolish Burial a little bit later as to why. But overall, this card is super duper easily searchable through the deck. You can search this card with like so many different cards. You can search it with Soul Servant. You can search it with your Magician's Rod and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, or just being able to get into Magician's Rod and then search into Circle. So definitely a whole bunch of other ways to do it. Then I am playing with like the Dark Magician Girl package. I am playing the bond between teacher and student, just to be able to help get out that Dark Magician Girl from hand, deck, or graveyard as easily as possible. And then we have our 1 copy of Dark Burning Magic, as well as Dark Magic Attack. Now, some of these cards, like, they might not seem that great, but it is really cool to be able to use bond between teacher and student to be able to tutor out your Dark Magician Girl from the deck, and then you're able to directly set Dark Burning Magic from your deck, which then if you have Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl on the field, you're able to destroy all cards that your opponent controls. So if your opponent's kind of on the crackback and they're trying to break your board, but you're able to get out with the Dark Burning Magic as well as with your Magician's Salvation. Magician's Salvation is going to allow you to set Eternal Soul directly from your deck, and then when you special summon Dark Magician to the field, you're able to get Dark Magician Girl out of your graveyard, which is really cool. Then you're able to just go off from there and use your Dark Burning Magic and blow up your opponent's entire field. Dark Magic Attack is in here because a lot of people are currently on Mystic Mine, and then you're also able to just sort of, this is like your alternate search. If you already have Dark Burning Magic in your hand and you draw into bond between teacher and student, you can just go for that Dark Magic Attack. There are a lot of really good control decks that are out in the format right now, so overall playing the Dark Magic Attack doesn't seem like too bad of an option. Then we have our Terraforming to also help search for our Magician's Salvation, and then 2 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Just another nice route that you can go into if you've already gotten into your Magician's Salvation. You can then go for your Secret Village of the Spellcasters after you set your Eternal Soul, and then you're able to then go ahead and lock your opponent out of all of their spells and traps. The easiest way for your opponent to try to get around your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is with things like Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplet. So if you can just turn those cards off completely, then all you need is your Dragoon to omni-negate all of your opponent's, whatever of your opponent's like monster or trap cards that they're going to be using to threaten your Dragoon, and it's kind of just protect the castle from there, and your opponent probably won't be able to get around your stuff. Then our 1 copy of Foolish Burial. I sort of alluded to this earlier, but the reason why I put this in here is because through testing, I was having so many problems with being able to draw enough off of Soul Servant and whatnot with the loss of Verte Anaconda. Since you can't send your Red Eyes Fusion to the graveyard for the Anaconda and then get off all of your combos, the Foolish Burial is really pivotal to be able to get your where is she? The Dark Magician Girl into your graveyard. Then once you have Dark Magician Girl in your graveyard, it actually turns on so much for the deck. It's going to turn on your Magician's Salvation, which is going to be able to bring that back from the graveyard. It's going to make your Eternal Soul even better. If you can't find your Dark Magician from out of your deck, you just use Foolish Burial to be able to turn on your Eternal Soul. And then lastly, the other 2 cards that Foolish Burial really helps enable is your Magicalized Fusion for an alternate route to be able to get into Dragoon or whatever of your other fusion monsters that you want to get into, as well as your Soul Servant. So it essentially, probably the best effect is the fact that Foolish Burial turns Soul Servant into an extra draw. So Foolish Burial in this deck is essentially an Upstart Goblin, and then how it just turns on a few of your other cards is a really nice card. I just thought it was a nice last 40th card to include into the deck. Then we have our 3 copies of Red Eyes Fusion. It might seem a little bit like overkill to play 3, but you want to see this. If you can open with this and like Eternal Soul, just to be able to sort of protect your field and stuff like that, it is really, really good. And then don't forget that you also have your Magician's Souls in the deck on your next turn, because you're not going to be able to summon out to the field the turn that you use Red Eyes Fusion. But if you do have a Magician's Souls on your following turn, and you do have like extra copies of Red Eyes Fusion in your hand, you're always able to just discard them off of your souls to be able to draw into new stuff, which is kind of cool. Then 2 copies of Super Poly just to help us break through some boards. 1 copy of the Eye of Timaeus, just another option to go into some cool fusion plays. Like I said, we are playing the Dark Magician Girl and the Dark Magician in here, so it's really nice to be able to go into all of those other Timaeus routes. Mainly, the one that I really, really like for this deck is actually the Dark Magician of Dragon Knight, because he can help protect your Eternal Soul. We'll get to that a little bit later, but we do have our 1 copy of Secrets of Dark Magic, 1 copy of Magicalized Fusion for the last of our fusion spells. We're playing a ton of fusion spells, but we want to be able to go into our fusion plays as much as possible. Then we have our 2 copies of Eternal Soul, just to be able to help bring back our Dark Magician out onto the field. Super easily searchable, so you only need to be playing the 2 copies. And then 2 copies of Solemn Judgment, another nice route to be able to help protect your Dragoon if your opponent's going to be going for a really big play. Let's say they're playing Forbidden Droplet and they're going to activate that, but they don't send a trap card. You can always just use Solemn Judgment to be able to negate that. So they're going to be having to send a monster to be able to negate the Dragoon if you don't want to be able to chain against it. So essentially, They might not be sending a trap if Dragoon is the only monster on your field, so you can usually safely use Solemn Judgment to help protect your Dragoon or just anything else on your field. Helping to protect your Eternal Soul is also very pivotal for the deck. So moving on, we are playing 1 copy of Dragoon. I really should be playing 2 copies of this, but I only have the 1 because I kind of went balls to the walls and went for the Starlight Rare. So I would really highly recommend playing 2 copies in this build just because of how much we want to go into it. And I'll sort of go over, I think that the easiest one would just be to get rid of one of the super poly targets like the Predaplant Trophy Overdome, and Dragoon should be getting a reprint later in the Megatins this year, so it will be really nice once that happens. We then have our 1 copy of Master of Chaos, 1 copy of the Dark Magicians, 1 copy of the Dark Magicians of Dragon Knight. So with this card on the field, while he's on the field, his name is treated as Dark Magician while on the field or in the graveyard, so you can bring him back from the graveyard with Eternal Soul as well. And then your opponent cannot target spells and traps you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So if you're able to end your board with him, then you are able to basically protect Eternal Soul, and then Eternal Soul will protect him, which is really cool. It's going to make it so your opponent has a much harder time breaking through your board. So there's a lot of really cool ways that you can actually enable this. If your opponent, or if you're able to end with your Dragoon on the field, and then you're able to Eternal Soul bring back your Dark Magician, then all you need is a dragon, and then you're able to go off from there. So even if your opponent like normal summons out a dragon monster, or if they get a dragon monster out onto the field somehow, like Boral Sword or something, to try to beat over your stuff, then you can always super poly it, go into this, and now your board is super duper protected. Then we have ourselves a Amulet Dragon, as well as a Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Then getting on into our super poly targets, we have Predaplant Dracostapelia, the Predaplant Trophy Overdome. I really think that you could replace this for your second Dragoon. Like I said, you're not really going up against a whole lot of boards that end on like 3 dark monsters nowadays because of like the banning of Predaplant Anaconda and stuff. So I think that there's a lot of different ways you could go there. There's a lot of different super poly target routes that you can go with. Then we have our Starving Venom Dragon, and then our 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Getting on into some Link monsters, then we have 1 copy of IP Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 copy of Selene, and then also 1 copy of Access Code Talker. Super easy to just go into Selene and then just climb up into your Access Code Talker and be able to help push for game if Dragoon is not going to be doing it for you. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for my deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I've been trying to work on this one for a long time, and I'm sorry for the low amount of videos as of the last couple weeks, but it just has been really crazy with camping and just other family stuff going on this summer. I got engaged last weekend, so you know, it's just been a little bit busy lately. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this profile. Definitely hit up the subscribe button if you guys haven't already, and make sure to check out the Patreon as well if you guys are interested in helping to support the channel. And besides that, just hit the like button, and we'll see you guys for the next profile. Peace.